Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to another episode of the IndyCar Podcast. In today's episode, we will be having a little bit, because obviously we're in close season. There's no IndyCar on. What do we talk about? Well,
I don't know.
If you follow us on Instagram, you would have seen we did a poll earlier in the week and an Instagram post comparing Scott Dixon and Will Power on the road course season. I believe Scott Dixon actually came in top on that poll on who had the better road course season.
Very close.
Dixon or Will Power. Very close split down the middle. Both had 2 wins to their name. Power had the 4 poles, but Dixon had the more top 10 finishes and fastest laps as well. But it thought it might be a good question today to go into who does the 2021 IndyCar calendar suit more out of the drivers that are on the grid. Obviously, we have a few yet to be confirmed, but the main suspects will certainly be on the calendar. And we'll also talk about TK securing the oval seats with Chip Ganassi, a return to Chip Ganassi for Tony Kanaan, and rounding off with a little bit of Ferrari speculation. Because who doesn't love a bit of Ferrari speculation? But yes. So, Stephen, 2021 calendar, majority road and street courses, only the 4 oval races. So means it probably favours more the drivers who are strong on there. Who do you reckon is going to be your main candidates for next year?
For the title?
Yeah, let's go all in. Let's
go crazy. As you said, Will Power and Dixon are the 2 that immediately come to mind. Will Power looking incredibly quick in qualifying on those road and street circuits. But Scott Dixon
had 5 pole positions last year.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Like, he is still absolutely
He's the quickest man over
race.
1 lap, in the current field. But Dixon can grind out results. And that's, if you just accumulate the points you need, you can be champion. Will Power suffered with luck and inconsistency last year, which meant he never really put a title challenge bid together, where Scott Dixon just does what he needs to do.
Absolutely. Joseph Newgarden you can't rule out because he is just strong across both.
Everywhere.
Yeah, he's just good everywhere. It has to be said. But yeah, I think for me, those are the 3 main candidates. And then if I look outside of that, at Andretti Autosport, you got to look at Colton Herta because his 3 IndyCar wins have all come on road and street courses.
Yeah, and obviously 2 last year.
Yeah. Well, 1 last year. He only won at Mid-Ohio.
Oh, of course.
Almost. It was... Yeah. You're going back to...
He almost won in 2 other races. But
the Andretti... he didn't fluff the tyres just weren't there in the second Harvest GP. He fluffed St. Pete as everyone at Andretti Autosport appeared to do, other than Hunter Ray. Yay!
Who was 5th.
Yeah, correct. So I think Colton Hurt, it'd be interesting. Is this a season where Colton can take another step up, where his first season he impressed with kind of some standout results, winning some races. His second season, he kind of built on that consistency, obviously finishing P3 in the championship. I think, he seriously has to be taken as a title contender. I think it will actually really suit him.
Yeah, definitely. But, actually, can we talk about it? Because it isn't confirmed yet. But Roman Grosjean! He's got tons of experience racing around road circuits, street circuits. Could be his debut season next year. Could have a flyer at some events. Obviously, he's going to be completely unfamiliar with the tracks and completely unfamiliar with how the car works. It's a very outside shot. He may pick up a few good results.
Not a Scooby in his first one. I think if he goes to a said Dale Coyne Racing, I think
could
it's
pick up
really
some decent results.
Yeah, I think he will, but I think it'll be a grounding year that maybe another team then looks at him because he's not old in terms of IndyCar years. Like you've got the aging Pagenaud, Power, Dixon, TK, come out, Hilo, Castro, Neves.
Jimmy
Johnson. There's a lot of older ones. So at 33, he's slightly older, but he's got a lot of good experience under his belt.
It's like prime
I think he will be 34 by the time next season comes along. So, but yeah, it's still a very obviously we look at Takuma Sato, came around about that time into IndyCar, and look at him now, 43 years of old, 2-time Indy 500 winner. Alexander Rossi, you can't rule out.
Of course, yeah.
He again, like Will Power, had a really poor season. But yeah, we're going to narrow it down to 5.
Top 5 picks.
Who this calendar
Dixon,
really goes.
Power, Newgarden, Colton Herta, Alexander Rossi.
Yeah. I think that's fair because Simon Pagenaud, fantastic sports car driver, but it's even in the last race of the season, hadn't still find that right balance.
No.
Scott McLaughlin, it's going to be a grounding year for him. Ryan Hunter-Ray, Hinch, I think will come up with some good performances, but nothing serious enough to challenge for a title. Same with Alex Palou. I think he'll have a good season. And outside of that, who do you think? Do you think Ferrucci and VK will have good seasons?
The calendar probably suits them more because their best races were around the road and street circuits.
Yeah.
It's just looking at the European guys, basically. I know Ferrucci is American, but yeah.
Yeah, you probably look at
Rosenqvist.
Yeah, and we haven't even spoken about Pato. I mean, that's a question. Are Arrow McLaren going to be far enough ahead in their development that they can seriously mount a challenge with Pato because he has the skills on both circuits, but probably, funnily enough, his strongest performances did probably come on the ovals.
Well, I think that was generally McLaren's strongest performances came on the ovals.
Yeah.
And Pato made the most of that, yeah.
Yeah, Road America is the only real stand. I mean, obviously, he performed well in St. Pete at the end and performed well, like I said, Road America across there. But yeah, both Mid-Ohio and Harvest GP were okay. Nothing spectacular.
Yeah, he picked up one podium, didn't he? In the second Harvest. Did he pick up the podium at the Harvest GP? I'm sure he picked up one over one of the races.
It feels...
Or maybe it was a top 5. Maybe it was top 5.
Maybe, in terms of that. But yeah, he's one that I feel would feel unlucky to miss out on the top 5. But I just think with the strength of Rossi and Herta, I think Herta with another season behind him and the resources that Andretti have. But I don't know. Maybe Arrow McLaren with the backing now have more resources available and will be more competitive than that Andretti package. Like, it wasn't until Mid-Ohio that they got their first win of the season.
Exactly, yeah. So,
and I think McLaren, well, yeah, they didn't get a win all season.
They were so close so many times.
They were. But for a small team, they showed a lot of kind of...
promise, yeah.
Yeah.
For their first full-time year in IndyCar, it was a pretty good year. How many podiums did they end up with in the end?
I don't know.
The one pole from Pato at Road America. Then I kind of want to say about 6 podiums.
Yeah,
or at least
something
6.
around there, because Oliver Askew got one.
Yep.
Pato got at least 4. Off the top of my head. Maybe 5. So 6 or 5 or 6.
5 or 6. In their first full-time year. Pretty decent.
Yeah, well, considering how young a lineup they went with as well in Pato and Oliver Askew.
It was Pato's first full-time year as well.
Yeah.
Askew's first
rookie season.
Rookie year, yeah. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
And now they got the experienced Rosenqvist to help the team along. I say experience. He's got Well, being a Chip Ganassi, you learn a few things there.
And highly rated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think 5 picks would be, like we said, the Alexander Rossi, Colton Herta, Will Power, Newgarden, and Scott Dixon, as always, the driver from Chip Ganassi. But the team to watch out for who could surprise and have a real good season, I don't think they have enough to challenge the Penske's and the Chip Ganassis for a title, but they really could get in some strong performances, and that would be Arrow McLaren with both Rosenqvist and Pato O'Ward.
Definitely.
For now. And definitely backing Pato to get his first IndyCar win in the 2021 season. 100%. He will win at least one race next year.
It's got to happen.
Surely on that. But, unless you have any more thoughts on who it would suit.
No,
that's it.
That's our brief little look at who the calendar will suit more.
Like we said, we'd love to hear from you in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Obviously, the kind of top drivers who are going to be performing in the series, who you reckon is going to be the main title contenders. I don't know. Will Power hasn't challenged for a few years, and I just feel in 20 he was favoured. His runner-ups that he's come before have been in calendars that have favoured him by having a more heavily road course-based calendar, and that massively suits him this season.
Yeah,
I think, especially with the pole positions as well.
100%.
So he's going to be my pick. I'm going to back Will Power to be 2021 champion.
Okay, out of those 5, I probably would pick the same.
But this is now back in November. We'll do proper predictions when obviously we get closer to the season and full lineups are gone from there. But we've spoken about road courses and street courses, predominantly the calendar, but there are 4 oval races, and the number 48 car, we knew Jimmy Johnson was reluctant and won't be racing the ovals in the 2021 season, which means the return to Chip Ganassi for TK, Tony Kanaan. Obviously, last year with AJ Foyt, I think it was meant to be his last year. COVID happened, no real fans or no big crowds.
It was, at the Indy 500 was the big one.
Yeah, exactly. And really disappointing. Tony, he would have loved to kind of been, he's a real fan favourite, and I think he would have loved a big send-off, especially at the Indy 500. So now, he gets that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it's a fantastic appointment. Obviously, he's an Indy 500 winner.
Of course. And an Indy championship winner.
Yeah. So, I think...
he's no slouch. Obviously, that was a while ago. But as you say, he's a fan favourite and he wants his farewell with the fans.
TK's good at the ovals, and we all know Indy 500, anything can happen.
Yes,
exactly. Cautions fall your way, whatever. You can have the experience. I think he drove a good one for AJ Foyt this year in the number 14 car. But, Chip Ganassi, Scott Dixon, it's not been a happy hunting ground necessarily for there. Dario was their main Indy 500 winner. Scott, championship winner. But Dario was the one who kind of seemed to find the Indy 500 titles. Yeah. Obviously, Scott, 2008 winner. Probably, if it hadn't finished under caution, but that shows, doesn't it? You can dominate a race like Scott Dixon did this year round in 2020, but Takuma Sato can still end up winner, and that may be a case with Tony Kanaan and obviously Helio Castro Neves, the 2 experienced Brazilians who grew up racing together. It's going to be nice. It may be their last Indy 500s. I don't know how long-term Helio is with Meyershank Racing.
Well, Tony Kanaan jokingly said he's lobbying the IndyCar body to have more oval races in 2022. Obviously, I'm not sure how much. He said it jokingly, but it'd be pretty funny if he was back in 2022 with more oval races.
That may be the case. He may just run ovals. He pretty much just ran ovals for AJ Foyt this year.
Yeah.
I think he did only just run.
It may be
ovals.
The farewell this year, or it may not. He may just keep coming back for the oval races.
TK loves ovals in terms of that. But I think that's a really smart selection for that seat. But another door that closes on Oliver Askew, that was one that we kind of hinted at. He had a good relationship with Chip Ganassi. We thought he might be in with a shout with that number 10 seat. No, went to Alex Palou. He might have been in with a shout, but I suppose if they're going for Palou, they've very much gone with the youngster
there
that they wanted, and there is no long-term future. So the number 48 really is a superstar car, isn't it? And with Helio Castro Neves gone, Tony Kanaan is probably the best oval superstar that you could get for that seat with the current roster of guys who are available. But yeah, that probably rounds up the Tony Kanaan news.
Yep.
So we round off the podcast with a look at an interesting article from the race. Now, a link to this article will be in the description down below. And this is a join the dots type of scenario. There is no guarantees that it could be completely irrelevant whatsoever. But the centenary celebrations of Monza are coming up. And they are lobbying for funding to renovate and update Monza. And that is not only the main track, but the guy who runs the Monza basically is really interesting in renovating the oval and the Monza banking. So the old oval race. I think it had... it last raced in F1 in 1962. I think IndyCar went over there for like an event, but not a proper IndyCar race.
Yeah.
There's never been an IndyCar calendar, but obviously we've spoken about it before. David Land has obviously spoken about it in depth before in terms of Ferrari being the real big one that Roger Penske wants to bring into the series. That may be one that Ferrari's conditions go in, that they go, we're coming to IndyCar, we've renovated Monza, we want one race in Monza for the Ferrari fans to invest in the IndyCar calendar. And I'll tell you one thing, if there is an IndyCar race at Monza, we will be going.
Yes. It'll be absolutely mental as well.
Yeah. On that old banking in the corner. That will be mental. And it will only be one banked corner. I don't think they'll renovate and bank two corners. I'm convinced it's just an oval with the banking going around one side. But yeah, should be absolutely fantastic. But it was stopped, I think, because it became too dangerous. But funnily enough, the crashes didn't happen on the banking. They happened off the banking, but they ruled it was too dangerous because of the high speeds. But that was obviously back in the 60s, where safety was a little bit suspect in Formula One, has to be said.
Yeah.
Top talents certainly feared for their lives every day, so putting more risk was not. But we're now in 2021. Oval safety has gone up. If they renovate it and properly do it, obviously take from the hints from IndyCar, all the safety precautions that they've put in place. Wow.
Would be incredible.
What an incredible duo that would be. Ferrari into IndyCar, race at Monza. One of the classic kind of tracks on Formula One. But yeah, it would be absolutely classic for IndyCar. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge event.
Could it be like a season opener or a season... I don't think it would be a season finale. Or it could be. I think it'd have to be at one of the bookends because obviously the amount of travel they'd have to do. But yeah. He's thinking.
Well, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I guess you could bang it in the middle of the season.
Because it'll be an oval. And the ovals tend to be in the middle of a calendar. So it depends when the break is in the calendar.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know if you... Obviously, the Texas Motor Speedway, you do go early season. Is the oval race... it's going to be a double header, isn't it?
Yes,
the
Texas.
Yeah. That one is obviously the current spot. But could it be one that builds the excitement for the Indy 500?
Would be a great one to get European fans involved.
Yeah, because listening to Team Penske, well, I think it was Jonathan Gibson. He was talking on a webinar recently. They don't have any interest in Europe. This certainly would be an interest in Europe if it comes in as part of the Ferrari deal. But they were so keen about having an oval race before the Indy 500 in terms of that. And you never know, it might increase the number of entries that go across, because if you then get European
possibly, yeah,
heritage there and build an audience there, you might get the odd one. I don't know. Do we have Ferrari and Alfa Romeo entering for the Indy 500? I mean, that would be mental, because Alfa Romeo have no market in America. I don't think. Americans, help me out if
what about
I've
Lamborghini?
got that wrong. Potentially. I don't know. Any of the big Italian names, that certainly would be absolutely fascinating, wouldn't it? In terms of that. But yes, that was speculation that they are looking to renovate and it was very specific, non-F1 races. And I'm not being funny. There is only 2 series in the world that really are heavily, predominantly oval based, other than their kind of altercation, the variations of the series, shall we say, and that is NASCAR and IndyCar.
Yeah.
And Ferrari, who obviously it's the home of Ferrari, Monza, the Italian GP, are a single-seater company.
Yeah, I'm not sure NASCAR's going to quite fit in with
the Italians.
Monza.
Yeah. So to me, that screams they're looking to host an IndyCar race.
Oh, yeah.
Be interesting. That kind of rounds off today's episode, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the chat. It's obviously a casual one. These will be shorter episodes, obviously, over the close season, because there isn't as much news coming out, but obviously we'll react to news as much and go dig in and find these ones. And like we did at the start, we'll always pick a topic and maybe discuss for that week to get you guys involved in the comments. But if you're new around here or haven't done so already, Stephen, what can they do?
You can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it. So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing.